The wind howled across the barren plains of the alien planet, carrying with it the faint scent of sulfur and something metallic. The twin suns were setting, casting long shadows over the rocky terrain. Captain Elias Grant adjusted the straps of his survival pack and glanced at the horizon. His team had been stranded on this desolate world for 3 days now, their ship crippled by a sudden ion storm. They were running low on supplies and hope was beginning to dwindle. Elias crouched by the small fire he had managed to ignite, its feeble warmth barely enough to stave off the planet's biting cold. He was alone for the moment. The rest of his crew were scouting the area for any signs of civilization or resources. As he poked at the flames with a stick, a faint rustling sound caught his attention. He froze, his hand instinctively reaching for the plasma pistol at his side. "Who's there?" he called out, his voice steady but laced with caution. The rustling grew louder, and then from behind a jagged rock formation, a figure emerged. Elias's breath hitched in his throat. It was a girl, or at least she looked like one. Her skin was a pale, shimmering silver, and her eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. She was clad in a simple flowing garment that seemed to shift and ripple like liquid metal. Her hair, long and silken, was a deep, iridescent blue that seemed to catch the firelight and refract it into 1,000 colors. Elias stood slowly, keeping his movements deliberate and non-threatening. "I mean you no harm," he said, raising his hands to show he was unarmed. The girl tilted her head, studying him with an expression that was both curious and wary. She took a step closer, her bare feet making no sound on the rocky ground. When she spoke, her voice was melodic, almost hypnotic, though the words were in a language he didn't understand. Elias frowned, then tapped the small translator device on his wrist. "Can you understand me now?" he asked, hoping the universal translator would bridge the gap. The girl's eyes widened in surprise and then she nodded. "Yes," she said, her voice soft but clear. "I can understand you." Relief washed over Elias. "Good. My name is Elias. Oh, I'm lost. My ship was damaged and my crew and I are stranded here. Do you know if there's any help nearby? A settlement, maybe?" The girl hesitated, her gaze flickering to the fire and then back to him. "You are not from this world," she stated, more as a fact than a question. "No," Elias admitted. "We're explorers. We came from a planet called Earth." The girl's expression softened and she took another step closer. "I am Lyra," she said, "and you are in great danger. My people, they do not take kindly to outsiders." Elias's heart sank. "We don't mean any harm. We just need to repair our ship and leave." Lyra's eyes darted around nervously as if she expected someone, or something, to appear at any moment. "Come with me," she said suddenly. "I can take you to a safe place. But we must hurry." Elias hesitated. He didn't know if he could trust her, but what choice did he have? He nodded and quickly extinguished the fire, then followed Lyra as she led him away from the campsite. They moved swiftly and silently through the rocky terrain, the twin suns now fully set and the sky awash with the light of 1,000 unfamiliar stars. After what felt like hours, they reached a hidden entrance to a cave, its mouth obscured by a thick curtain of vines. Lyra pushed them aside and gestured for Elias to follow. Inside, the cave was surprisingly warm. The walls were lined with glowing crystals that emitted a soft blue light. Lyra led him deeper into the cavern, until they reached a large chamber filled with strange alien technology. Elias's eyes widened as he took in the sight. There were consoles and screens displaying data in a language he couldn't read, and in the center of the room was a large, circular platform that hummed with energy. "What is this place?" Elias asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "This is a sanctuary," Lyra replied. "A place where my people once sought refuge from the wars that ravaged our world. But now," she looked away, her tone darkening, "it is a place of secrets, secrets that my people have tried to bury." Elias frowned. "What kind of secrets?" Lyra turned to him, her glowing eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and determination. "Long ago, our world was a paradise. But our ancestors grew greedy, and they created weapons of unimaginable power. They used them to wage war, and in the end they destroyed everything. The survivors vowed never to let such destruction happen again. So they hid the remnants of their technology and erased all knowledge of it from our history." Elias's mind raced. "But you know about it. Why?" Lyra looked away, her expression pained. "I am different. I was born with the ability to see the truth, to remember what others have forgotten. My people fear me because of it. They call me a heretic, a danger to our society. But I cannot ignore the truth. And now, with you here, I believe it is time for the truth to be revealed. Elias took a step closer to her. What are you saying? Lyra met his gaze, her eyes blazing with conviction. I am saying that you and your crew are not the only ones in danger. My people are on the brink of repeating the mistakes of our ancestors. They have begun to unearth the old technology to experiment with it. If they succeed, they will unleash the same destruction that nearly wiped us out before. Elias felt a chill run down his spine. What can we do? Lyra reached out and took his hand, her touch surprisingly warm. You can help me stop them. Together, we can destroy the technology before it is too late. Elias hesitated, torn between his duty to his crew and the enormity of what Lyra was asking. But then he thought of the devastation she had described, the countless lives that could be lost if her people unleashed such power. He nodded. All right. I'll help you. Lyra's face lit up with relief and she squeezed his hand. Thank you, Elias. But we must act quickly. My people will soon discover that I have brought you here. Elias nodded, determination hardening his features. Then let's get to work. Over the next few hours, Lyra showed Elias how to operate the ancient technology, guiding him through the complex systems with an ease that spoke of her deep connection to the machines. Together, they set the self-destruct sequence, ensuring that the technology would be destroyed without causing harm to the planet or its inhabitants. As the final countdown began, Lyra turned to Elias, her expression bittersweet. It is done, she said. The technology will be destroyed and my people will be safe. Elias nodded, but he couldn't shake the feeling of unease that had settled in his chest. What about you? What will happen to you? Lyra smiled softly. I will be hunted as I always have been. But it is a small price to pay for the safety of my people. Elias reached out and took her hand. You don't have to face this alone. Come with us. We can protect you. Lyra's eyes filled with tears, but she shook her head. I cannot leave my world, Elias. My place is here among my people. But I will always remember you and the kindness you have shown me.